Hey everybody, how you all doing? It's nice to be back in X-Plane and in VR. Now, today we're just going to be checking out a bit of live traffic again, or hopefully, and do a really chilled flight. The sun is going down. That is looking very, very beautiful. Yeah, and we're just going to do a nice chilled flight from RAF Cranwell to, well, London really, but we're going to go via Heathrow so we can check out some of this really just staggering live traffic, and we're going to end up, hopefully, all being well, at Fair Oaks, which is a beautiful little spot not far from Farnborough actually. We are in the Cessna Centurion. I do like this aircraft from Coronado. This is one of their better aircraft. I will say actually, anyone who's watched my Falcon video, I've had a bit of time with it now, and I don't know, after the initial impression of a new aircraft, you know, wears off, I'm not that impressed with it. I think the sounds are really nice, and of course the usual cockpit representation looks fantastic, but in terms of just the autopilot, the VNAV doesn't work properly in it, and even in the back, you know, you can't fiddle with the usual things like, you know, putting your table up and out the way and goodness knows what. It just seems to be, I don't know, it could have been better. So I'm left feeling a little frustrated with it, and of course I'm used to the Challenger, and that is one heck of a business jet, so probably I'm a bit spoiled. It's still a great jet, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't say it's one of their best. Like I initially thought in the video. If anything, I think the Premier, if you want to get a Coronado business jet for X-Plane, I recommend the Premier. That's probably one of their better aircraft. Anyway, back to today's flight. We're going to start this beautiful, gorgeous plane up. Hopefully my controls are working, because my Eclipse sometimes just forgets to bind controls properly, and I have to kind of reconnect it, but I think it's behaving itself. We'll put a bit of floodlight in here as well, although it's not quite dark yet. Oh, that looks gorgeous. It probably will be night time by the time we land. I'm guessing this flight in this Cessna down to London, it's about 100 miles or so. I don't know, we're looking at probably about a good 40 minutes or so if we get going pronto. So, mixture rich, throttle is cracked. It's a Coronado aircraft, so I don't need to worry about much. I'll just click the starter into life and see how we get on. And he says that. That serves me right, trying to be cocky. Try again. There we go. Right, we now put our avionics on. Now in this aircraft, it's quite unusual, it's in this little corner here. And we are going to put our destination in, which is going to be pretty simple. In fact, actually, yeah, we'll do that. We'll put in Fair Oaks, which should be Echo Golf. I think it's Tango Foxtrot. I always get that confused with Farnborough. Where are you? I might be getting this wrong. Yes, that's correct. Good. Brilliant. So we'll put that in there. We could do with our ATIS. We're going to use Active Sky for that today. I do love Active Sky. It is the quintessential weather simulation engine for X-Plane.
Yankee Delta.
Right, here we go.
Foxtrot 1650 Zulu.
Put a bit of beacon on.
159er at 13 visibility 10.
Okay, so as we taxi out, we can see the controller there, tower. This is actually quite a nice little freeware version of RAF Cranwell. Former home of the Red Arrows, and it's probably the RAF's largest training location, shall I say, for all the pilots that come through here, including Prince William, who they start on the little Grobs. In fact, they've just received the new Grob version 2s. They're actually a very nice looking aircraft. and they have instead of a fixed landing gear, they have retractable landing gear, and they just look quite a beast of an aircraft. And I think they have like a G1000s in them as well, so very nice. Well, we'll presume it's clear because I don't think there's going to be much traffic. Bearing in mind we are looking out for real traffic, but there won't be any now this time of day, since Cranwell kind of closes at about 5 o'clock. I'm hoping we will see some nice interesting traffic on the way. Look at that sunset, isn't that amazing? That is courtesy of Ultimate Weather XP 2.4. Right, landing lights on, taxi light off. I think we're about good to go. We've got a mixture rich. Actually, we haven't set our trim. We'll just wake that up a bit. There we go. And I think we are ready to fly into the night. Now, I don't really fancy using the autopilot today, but we'll get it ready just in case. But I'm kind of in the mood just to do some hand flying here today. I'll back off that RPM. Just under about 24. And see if we can set cruise power to about 24 squared. There we go. But yeah, I've noticed the cylinder head temperature is just starting to creep up. Now, if that was the Marchetti, we would be in serious trouble right now, and we'll probably have a huge engine failure, and we'll be heading back down to the ground again. Something I have done before. Now look at that. Can you see how the sun is actually casting a ray, or casting a reflection rather, onto the panel there? That's very impressive stuff. Very nice indeed. Right, 4,000 feet. Now that's plenty. I don't want to go any higher than that, so we'll trim this baby out. Now we will sort of gain a bit of speed, so my guess was pretty accurate with about 40 minutes flight time. Now, depending on the cloud cover, of course, we may have to drop down lower, because the weather is pretty damn depressing in the UK at the moment, to say the least. It's just rain, rain, and more rain. So there it is, that's the A1. Running pretty well. I do love looking down at the cars. Something quite nice about that. It's great how they're driving on the correct side of the road. Just how, you know, the traffic moving away from you, you can see the red lights, the tail lights, and then the headlights. Just really adds to immersion. And here we are, right overhead, Wittering. In fact, to be honest, we could quite easily just abandon this plan a little bit and just follow the A1 for a while. Let's do that, actually. We'll do a bit of a dead reckoning in possibly the most challenging kind of time of day. But this is RAF Wittering, which again quite famous for being formerly known as the airbase for the Harrier and AV8 type Harrier. Now, I mean, it was quite a special sight when you could see on the apron there on the taxiway there, just a whole line of Harriers. But unfortunately these days Wittering is a very quiet airbase. I'm not quite sure what goes on there these days, but all you see is probably the odd King Air or Grob doing some oh, here we go, doing some circuits basically if RAF Cranwell's a bit busy. Now we're kind of getting into full-on nighttime mode here, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I do love flying at night in X-Plane 11, and I haven't flown at night for quite some time really. Well, pretty much since I upgraded to the Rift S, but ever since having the Reverb again, I'm really enjoying night flying again, because it's just the black levels are good enough. You know, I'm not saying they're OLED type blacks. Wow, we're getting darker all the time now. But they are black enough for me to really feel that right now it is night time. And that is a beautiful scene right there. And the A1 is looking pretty busy. Even tell that I think that's where the A1 goes from dual carriageway to motorway 3-lane. Isn't it incredible how you can do this in a desktop flight sim? Follow routes quite easily. So there is Peterborough we're going past right now. Bit of a dump, if I'm honest. Nothing there really of any interest apart from a decent BMW dealership. That's about it really. And let's take a look outside here as we join the A1M. I even love how the traffic moves correctly. Like there is the normal lane, and then you've got the two overtaking lanes, or fast lane as people like to say, and you can see like the traffic on the left is moving slightly slower, and you've got the middle lane slightly faster again. So I have noticed that the emergency services use the central reservation. I'm not quite sure if that's correct, but hey, if it's free, go for it. It's nice not to be joining the rat race today and to just be sat in my Cessna Centurion looking down at the peasants below me working the 9 to 5 shift. Now soon we will be picking up another road, which is the A421 if I remember correctly. Now I love that road for one reason only: it doesn't have any speed cameras. That's right, no speed cameras. Although I'm sure that will change in the future. It's interesting, I had a comment the other day of someone asking me that when I'm in VR, do all my troubles just sort of dissipate and go away? Well, it's an interesting question really, quite a philosophical question in a way. And it got me thinking, like, VR for me is it's quite a nice coping mechanism for everyday life stresses and busyness. And I've said before, very much like riding my motorbike in a nice scenic place. VR, because it's got to the point where it's so damn good that it does fulfill a bit of that purpose for me now. Definitely. I mean, look at this. This is what a way to relax. As I've said before, you know, you don't have to fly all the time with your head in the cockpit, looking at all the systems, making sure you're doing everything by the book. Sometimes it's nice to grab X-Plane by the scruff of the neck and just go for a really relaxing flight. Now soon I will be doing my ferry flight in the TBM. Now I plan on doing that correctly. I'm looking forward to setting up my flight plan correctly and doing things as, you know, as somewhat as realistic as I can be bothered to. You know, I'm certainly not one for having sleepless nights if I've forgotten to take my landing light off or my fuel pump off. You know, it doesn't matter. I'm doing this, I'm pretending to fly a plane, you know, end of the day, whether it's VR or not. And I think first and foremost, it's important not to lose sight of the fact that we do this for enjoyment. Oh, this is quite a atmospheric scene right here. This is a very good way to sell Ultimate Weather XP, which they've gone a bit quiet recently actually, so I don't know what's going on with them. They were messing around and looking into volumetric clouds, but I'm not sure what's going on with that at the moment. Now the next airfield we're going to be going over is Luton, where we actually landed not that long ago in the TBM, I think. I can't remember. Oh, look at this! Check this out. we are getting a pretty substantial, what looks like an updraft or something. We've just shot up 250 feet and now we're going back down again. Now this is the kind of thing, now we're getting a bit of turbulence as well, that I try and explain to people when they ask, like, what should I buy Active Sky? And then they get a bit sort of disappointed when they see that, oh, it just looks the same. It's what's under the hood. Active Sky is a weather simulator. It simulates all of the forces, the physics, the turbulence, the downdrafts, the wake turbulence, just honestly countless amounts of calculations that, you know, you probably wouldn't even appreciate when you're flying. You just can't imagine how many things it's doing under the skin, so to speak. Now you may be able to just pick out there in the distance Cranfield, and the A421 will be heading this way. In fact, are we about to pick it up again? I think we might. Yep. And actually, yeah, we might come back here again in the daytime, because there, over that way, is some incredible, humongous hangars, which is for an airship that's been in testing now for many years. And in fact, unfortunately, had an accident, I think last year. It's humongous, and I can't remember what it's called, but I'll just put a little picture of it somewhere there. And I've never seen it in real life. I go on this road quite a lot, but I've never actually seen it out of its hangars. But right, okay, so here we have the M1. And I'm actually starting to struggle. I might cheat and put the autopilot on for a little bit, because I am fighting the aircraft a bit here. And our autopilot is our friend, so we might just kick that on. And maybe we can start to follow our actual route a bit now. But this will lead right to the what is known as the largest car park in the world, the M25. Right, I can see Heathrow coming into view. So what we might do is just, we'll go into heading mode for a second. So pull that round a bit. And let's see if we can spot any aircraft at Heathrow. I'm hoping we're going to. But at the moment, I'm not sure it's even working properly. One shown. We've got one aircraft being shown at the moment to Heathrow Airport. So let's just see how we get on as we get closer. Looking very pretty there at night time. And bearing in mind, guys, this is probably the most resource intensive area in X-Plane, and we are going to do a bit of plane spotting hopefully, and I can just see already an aircraft coming into land. So what we might do is disconnect the autopilot and maybe do a lap of Heathrow. Oh, look at that as the sun goes down, leaving that beautiful red sky. The red sky at night, Shepherd's delight. So is it going to be a nice day tomorrow? I wonder. We certainly need one in the UK. Oh, look at this, guys. That is a 777 taking off. Oh, that is so damn cool. Right in front of us as well. That is fantastic. Screenshot there. Honestly, experiencing this right now, yes, I am excited about the new flight sim, but I'm quite happy to wait, because what we have here is mind-blowing. Right, I'm going to take the autopilot off. It's going to make a bit of a noise, so I'm just going to edit that bit out. Or maybe not. Okay, it hasn't made any noise at all. So we're okay. So we'll just do a bit of a lap of Heathrow. Completely illegal. And this is the joy of flight simming. Another aircraft landing there, and one. And you probably won't see this, guys, but I can see London skyline there all lit up right off in the distance, and that's quite a scene. It really is. X-Plane lighting never fails to impress me. It really doesn't. And quite honestly, if I had to be hypercritical, I think Orbx's night lighting that they put over it isn't as good as the default lighting. I think they've kind of adopted some of the lighting techniques they used in Prepared, so you kind of get that orb type effect. It still looks great, but I think the actual default lighting of a X-Plane looks just that bit better. And we have another aircraft landing here. That looks like another 777, I think. Now, my airliner knowledge is pretty damn awful. I'm much better at naming fighter aircraft than I am airliners. Not really much of an airliner kind of guy, but I must say, when I often drive down that god-awful M25, I do enjoy seeing those aircraft literally probably only a couple of 100 feet above my head as I drive down there. So there we are, live traffic doing its thing. There's an aircraft there. Looks like an Airbus just about to enter the runway. So we're not actually going to land at Heathrow, we're going to land just a bit further up to the southwest, at a place called Fair Oaks, probably one of my most favourite Orbx airports. Not because of the graphics or because of anything other than it's just got a real charm to it, and I would love one day to actually visit Echo Golf Tango Foxtrot in real life. And we're only about 4 minutes away from there, so maybe we can pick up the ATIS so we can get our wind direction, but before that let's take another look at Heathrow here doing its thing. Now see there, that's a very long landing there. That aircraft has just touched down pretty much just past halfway. Now that is a small turboprop. Now I bet he did that on purpose because the GA side is this end. Now to see that in real life, not just an AI model just basically landing at the exact same point every time, just gives you that added sense of immersion. It really does. There's something quite incredible about knowing that every single aircraft there is in fact a real scheduled aircraft flight. We're just coming round one more time. Just as another aircraft is rolling. Take a little screenshot. I can't help my screenshots. I really have to take them. I'm terrible for it. I really am. I've got screenshot-itis, whatever that is. I've made it up, but I'm gonna stick with it. Actually, yeah, that's the takeoff runway this time. Wow, and to think that's a default airport as well. Okay guys, that's enough plane spotting for one evening, I think. We probably need to get down, and I have really need to change tanks, so we'll put our fuel pump on and we'll go to the right tank. Got positive fuel pressure over there, so we'll take it off and we'll put our landing light on. Just get the ATIS from Active Skies so we've got an idea of wind direction.
Echo Golf Lima Lima airport information. Kilo 1757 Zulu, weather wind 177 at 8, visibility 10,000, sky condition few clouds at 1,700, ceiling 2,200, broken temperature 112.10, altimeter 2929. Advise on initial contact, you have information. Kilo.
And Monty has just decided to try and attack me right at the point of finals. Go on. Oh my goodness me. Okay, concentrate. We're getting a little slow here. We're not really very stable. But I'm committed. Let's take a bit of a screenshot there. Here we go. Let's bring her down. Oh, that was awful. It's alright, we can save it. Okay, we are down and in one piece. And that landing was atrocious. But any landing you can walk away from is a good one, right? That's what they say. God, you really feel the darkness now in this. And I don't mean the band. Right, strobes off. Taxi light on. And where the hell is the taxiway? Have we gone too far? No, that's it there, look. Because of course this is basically a little airfield really. So I probably should have realised that. I've never actually landed here in the dark before. And we've gone the wrong way. Because that yeah, I know where we are. We've gone the wrong way here. Hang on a second. Because that aircraft there looks like something out of Indiana Jones, so that's definitely not right. We'll go back here. Boy, are we going to get a telling off when we get to the landing fees. Right, okay. I'm getting my bearings here a little bit. do love how the lights are casting. It's almost like ray tracing. Let's just check we're recording still, because that would be annoying. Yeah, I think we are. Well guys, we have kind of made it in a fashion. Look at that. That's the plough over there. That actually is the plough. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that in X-Plane. That's pretty damn impressive. But anyway guys, I'm going to probably leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed this little flight, or shall I say shenanigans. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to see if the... looks very busy, so I think the cafe's still open. Which is good, because I could do with a drink after that. Look at that, some amazing jets here, including a Beechcraft 400A. Let's park near there. That reminds me of Flight Unlimited 3. There we go. And VR again coming into its own. I love taxiing with, like, you know, looking at your wings, making sure that you can actually get into places. Right, parking brake is set. It's going to get very dark now, so I will say goodbye now. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again soon. Take care. Cheerio.